A festering feud bubbles over. State of Bengal versus centre once again. After rail, face-off on flights. Claims and counter-claims galore. COVID becomes backdrop to Mexican standoff. The big political flashpoint.
One welcome, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. On the show tonight, we will have live, as neither West Bengal or the centre are blinking. Babul Supriyo, Union Minister, would be joining us live in just about a short while later on in the show. We would also have Derek O'Brien, Rajya Sabha TMC MP. Derek O'Brien would also be joining us a little later in the show. That's our lineup, and the big story is once again West Bengal, the state of West Bengal and the centre facing off, this time over Shramik special trains and also the big Vande Bharat scheme. But first up, before I move on, I want to quickly get our viewers up to speed with where India stands with its fight against COVID-19. And sadly, viewers, we're just about a whisker away from crossing where China stood. Overall, India's total cases stand at 81,970. We've recorded 2,649 deaths till now. The worst hit state continues to be the state of Maharashtra, recording total positive cases of 27,524. Now, Maharashtra pretty much accounts for 33% of India's COVID-19 positive cases. Maharashtra has recorded 1,019 deaths. Tamil Nadu has taken over the state of Gujarat and even the city-state of Delhi to be second. Total cases at 9,674. The death rate in Tamil Nadu stands at 66 deaths have taken place due to COVID-19. Gujarat is now the third highest state, recording the third highest numbers with total cases of 9,591 and recording 586 deaths. This is the number that my producer and I have collated just about 10 minutes ago, pretty much giving you numerically where a picture of where India stands with its fight against coronavirus. Now I want to shift focus back to our top story this evening. Now, as the country marks its biggest health crisis in recent history, it is trial by fire for our state administrations, with only one motive for each state: flatten the curve. However, in one state, the pandemic has now become a backdrop to a pitched political battle. Why is it happening? Take a look. It's been a feud that doesn't need much to boil over. A pitched battle between the state of West Bengal and the central government has found its latest flashpoint. The Vande Bharat mission, India's largest repatriation operation till date, and the Shramik special trains run to ferry migrants home. The railway minister making a direct charge at TMC government of running very less trains to bring back migrants, forcing them to continue walking back home to West Bengal.
Lakhs and lakhs of labourers from West Bengal will have to suffer because the West Bengal government is not giving permission to these trains. I once again appeal to West Bengal. Instead of giving 105 trains in 30 days, please give permission for 105 trains every day.
The West Bengal government on the 14th May announced 105 trains coming in from Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Gujarat, bringing back migrants home. However, till the May 9th, the state had approved only 2 Shramik special trains, one from Ajmer Sharif and the other from Ernakulam in Kerala. Then the face-off unfolded between TMC Minister Partha Chatterjee and MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastav on social media. While Mamta's minister questioned the operation of evacuation flights, asking, is the MEA asking us to believe that there are enough people to come back from Georgia to Gujarat, but none want to come to Kolkata? The MEA spokesperson immediately retorted, MEA does not discriminate between states, will gladly facilitate flights to Kolkata if the government confirms arrangements to receive and quarantine. We hope to receive an early response on the matter. This pandemic is testing the country, but this pandemic has now become the backdrop in one state for what has been a brewing confrontation, which now is an all-out political war. Centre versus the state of West Bengal. A line has now been drawn in the sand. No compromise, no dialogue, no one willing to blink first, adding heft to the most awaited of hustings in a year's time. Election West Bengal 2021. With Bureau Inputs, Bureau Report, India Today. While we are witnessing many press conferences on how India is doing with the pandemic, coronavirus, we saw a special press conference today by BJP's Sambit Patra, which only talked about how possibly West Bengal and say certain other states were stalling the Shramik special trains, which are bringing back migrants, not allowing them to come into their state. Sambit Patra is joining me today. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Patra. One quick question is all I want to ask from you. You held a press conference today, Mr. Patra, where you insinuated that West Bengal has just had 2 trains coming in and has given permission to only 2 trains till now. And one is from Ajmer Sharif, the other one from Ernakulam, Kerala, where you did also give a possible communal angle to Ajmer Sharif. Why, sir?
No, in fact, Preeti, this is an unfounded allegation by the TMC and the government in West Bengal. And when the Bharatiya Janata Party had a press conference today with the data, in fact, in hand to suggest that all the migrant laborers belonging to the respective states should be brought back to the state. And this is possible only when the state gives its permission for the train with the migrant workers to enter the respective state. Ironically, West Bengal has not met with the demands in the sense that we have large chunk of Bengali migrant laborers across the length and breadth of the country. Bengal should have offered itself, should have given permission for larger number of trains. We have a provision of 300 trains running per day. But astonishingly, while we have Uttar Pradesh giving out a permission of 487 trains, we have West Bengal up till now only giving permission for 9 trains. As far as the communal agenda is concerned, let me tell you, when we held the press conference today, we categorically mentioned that the Bharatiya Janata Party has no issues if you evacuate the people who got stuck, the Bengali people who got stuck in Ajmer Sharif. But astonishingly, when the same category of people, in the sense, the devotees of from Bengal were stuck in Uttarakhand, why are they not being evacuated? Why the trains from Uttarakhand are not being given permission? And we had categorically stated that we have no problem. If people from Ajmer Sharif are being evacuated, that is humanity. No issues on that. But why not the same compassion shown to others?
Well, Mr. Patra, the data that has been released by West Bengal government suggests that 105 trains have been given the green light. But appreciate you joining us. That question that you raised, I will take it to Mr. Derek O'Brien, who's going to be joining us in just about 5 minutes from now. But this is not the first standoff. Why we call it a Mexican standoff is because it seems now both parties have drawn a line in the sand, refusing to blink, which is the state of West Bengal and the centre. There have been a string of face-offs. Let's quickly take you through some of them before we cut across to Babul Supriyo. I believe we have him already. Now, flashpoint number 1 was when no flight to West Bengal under Vande Bharat mission. This was what Partha Chatterjee, minister in West Bengal today, has alleged. Of course, this was debunked later by the MEA. Flashpoint number 2, Shramik trains for West Bengal. Now, Centre has charged that West Bengal is not allowing trains in. Flashpoint number 3. Well, let's take you a little while back where visit of inter-ministerial central team to Kolkata. Kolkata, the government had not allowed it in the beginning, then of course gave it permission later, but that created pretty much of a friction there. Flashpoint number 4. Centre, where Centre alleged that Mamata Banerjee, her government, was fudging COVID numbers. This all started when the death toll was changed in the beginning. Flashpoint number 5, just taking you through some of them. When Mamata Banerjee did not, of course, when she spoke and tore into the centre by saying that the centre was interfering in the federal structure. And she also apparently was not allowed to speak on April 27th, right before that, when the Chief Minister had met various, the Prime Minister had met various Chief Ministers through video conferencing. I want to cut across to Babul Supriyo, who's joining us right now. He's MOS Environment Minister. He's joining me right now from West Bengal, Kolkata. Mr. Supriyo, appreciate you joining me. My first question, sir. Now, Mamata Banerjee has said, or the government of West Bengal has pretty much said that there is this communal tint being given by the Bharatiya Janata Party, especially with what happened today, where it was alleged that only 2 trains have come in to West Bengal, one from Ajmer Sharif, the other from Ernakulam, Kerala?
Well, I think that this is not really the time to one, make political allegations, and secondly, it's the worst thing to come up with any kind of communal allegation. If Didi has something like that in her mind, I think she should refrain from saying this, because it is in very bad taste. If BJP runs 4 trains to bring people back from the Char Dham, the Kedarnath Jatra is starting from tomorrow. There's nothing wrong in it. If Didi sends people trains to Ajmer, one might say that certain things are meeting the eye, but you would refrain from this kind of comments or alleging the BJP of doing that. I have 2 very simple questions. One, to the TMC, is that if the data is showing that you have till date, only allowed 9 trains to come to Bengal, then there is somewhere you are lagging behind and highly. And how? Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, they have reached almost 400 and 300 in their numbers. I also agree that, a lot more brothers and sisters from Bihar and Uttar Pradesh are in different states of India working than how many other migrant workers from other states have actually gone to UP and Bihar. So even if these two states have run close to 400 and 300 trains, still they are lesser than what is required, and that's why you see so many migrant workers working on the street, on the roads, trying to reach UP and Bihar. That's one thing. That's the logical conclusion that one gets. Okay. Number 2, if Trinamool Congress is saying that they have got a plan of 105 trains to operate in the next 30 days, I think that is not an excuse, or that is not a good enough explanation for why we are staggering at a number which is as low as 9. Now, the Honorable Chief Minister, getting a chance to speak, and they are discussing so many things with the Honorable Prime Minister. Mamata Banerjee, we know 2 days back, had come up with a lot of allegations, against the central government, against Modi ji, publicly in that CM's meeting. What I'm saying is, if Mamata Didi feels, and it could be normal also, that when thousands of migrant laborers return to their state, whether you need to quarantine them, where do you want to quarantine them, whether they should be allowed to go home, how do the testing facilities work on the platforms? There are a lot of peripheral things and important things that needs to be worked out. If by any chance Mamata Banerjee feels that she does not have the the work power or whatever it is, I'm not getting into any kind of blaming. If she doesn't have that, why can't she talk to Modi ji or the central government asking for help? Just because a political ego is so much, on the surface, that she's going to let the migrant workers suffer, but is not going to ask the central government to help. If she asks for that help, do you really think that the central government is not going to make arrangements to ensure that when the migrant workers reach Bengal with the number of trains that should have run by now, then the adequate facilities would have not been created?
But Mr. Supriyo, one question was there, that why give the communal color? But I just want to now digress from there, and I want to ask you. I was speaking to Mr. Trivedi a short while back from the TMC. Now, he said that the Bengal government has asked each state to give data on numbers of West Bengal migrants in those states. So they are most willing to get these migrants back. So why raise this controversy in the first place?
I saw Dinesh Trivedi ji, ex-rail minister, say in another channel, in your Aaj Tak channel, that it is the other states' prerogative to send a list to West Bengal government about how many workers from Bengal are stranded there, and that is a thing that West Bengal will have to wait for. Now, I tell you a simple thing. You can go to my Facebook. It's a public domain. I was wondering why people, I was a little disturbed that migrant workers who are from my constituency, Asansol, they are not being able to come back to West Bengal or get back to their homes in Asansol because the so-called trains are not being run or being permitted by West Bengal into West Bengal. So I did a simple post on Facebook that you can call my office number, register yourself, let us know where you are, or just post your name and numbers and the number of persons or below my post on Facebook. You won't believe, as I talk to you, I have got a list of about 645 people who are stranded in different parts of the country. Now, a train may not run from Vellore to Bengal. But a guy staying in stranded in Vellore, about 48 of them, they can be advised that please go to the nearest station in Bangalore from where a train to Kolkata might be coming. So there are a lot of logical reasons that meets the eye when you're trying to explain the situation of Bengal or the political allegations that are being thrown by Trinamool Congress. But I simply feel this is not the time for Didi to do her signature kind of politics of center versus the state. Rather, if she needs the help, the center is more than willing to help her in every manner possible so that the migrant laborers can actually reach
Mr. Supriyo,
Bengal. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Supriyo, you talk about that the centre is willing to extend the help. My question to you on that is, on the issue of Vande Bharat, Mr. Supriyo, you had Partha Chatterjee, who went out and said that you are flying in planes from Georgia to Gujarat. How is it that none of the West Bengal residents who are struck abroad are actually being ferried back in those planes to Bengal? That there's discrimination somewhere?
Well, I think that, sometimes they come up with such bizarre political allegations. They make it such a blatant center versus Didi fight that you actually have to go dig in deep and find out, find out a logical answer to such bizarre questions. I'm part of a group of ministers made by Honorable Prime Minister, where I am having a talk with Hardeep Puriji, our Honorable Civil Aviation Minister, almost every second day. Now, the point is that a list has been made and there is no such scheme. No one is thinking in that manner to deprive West Bengal of flights. If West Bengal government thinks that there is this particular station where so many people are stranded, please ask Mamata Banerjee if she has written a letter telling the center, since the flights are being operated or handled by the Civil Aviation Ministry, have they written any request letter letting the center know that every state has a nodal officer who registers the number of migrant laborers and is coordinating with that particular state? Have they written a letter? Have they let the center know? I don't see any reason why Partha Chatterjee should come up with such a inappropriate political allegation about not running flights to Bengal. This is very, very bizarre and it's in very bad taste. And I'm not going to throw back any allegations on him. If he thinks that flights have not flown into Kolkata, I would request him, please come up with the minute details about how many people are stranded where and write a letter to us or just send an SMS. You are a minister in West Bengal. You can pick up the phone and speak to Hardeepji. Why don't you do that? What is the point in wasting time in a press conference?
Okay, all right. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Supriyo. You've made certain allegations. We're going to take them forward. Appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Babul Supriyo. I just want to cut across right now because I have right now with me Mr. Derek O'Brien. He's Rajya Sabha MP. He's the TMC spokesperson. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. O'Brien. We've had a bit of questions that have been raised by the Bharatiya Janata Party, the spokespersons and the minister there. My first question, Mr. O'Brien, if you would just take on from what was one allegation is that let's just talk about Vande Bharat to begin with. Mr. Partha Chatterjee's allegation is that planes are not being flown in to Kolkata to actually bring back citizens of West Bengal stuck abroad while it's happening in other states. Is there discrimination? And if there's discrimination, has West Bengal raised it?
That there is a discrimination against Bengal is, it's like they're in black and white, that Bengal is trying to fight the coronavirus. That's the focus, while the center is trying to fight Bengal. I'll answer your specific question on the Vande Bharat Express. These are the facts. Partha Chatterjee didn't make any allegation. He just stated the facts. What did he say? He said on May the 8th, the Chief Secretary of Bengal wrote to the center stating that institutional quarantine facilities for foreign returnees were ready. The government of Bengal enclosed a list of free government quarantine, the centers, and also a list of pay and use centers, and requested, this is May the 8th, requested details of passengers be given to the government so necessary arrangements could be made in advance. Excuse me. This is the same Bengal government who in the middle of March set up quarantine centers, 512 of them. 60,000 people were quarantined in quarantine centers in March. And why do I say March, middle of March? Because right through this period from the 5th of March to the 24th of March, what the two gentlemen who were on your show, what was their party doing? What was their party doing? And I think your viewers must know. Who kept parliament open? 2, who did politics for Madhya Pradesh, kept that going? 3, how many chief ministers were consulted before announcing a 21-day lockdown with 4 hours notice? 4, your sudden love for migrant workers. Really? You weren't thinking of migrant workers when you gave all members of parliament 48 hours to fly back on planes. That time, what happened to migrant workers? You didn't think about that. You didn't think about migrant workers till Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of Bengal, wrote to 18 chief ministers in the 3rd week of March. So stop shedding crocodile tears. Instead, look at those pictures of migrant workers and stop talking nonsense on the railways. You are the railway minister, you are the prime minister, you are the home minister. The railways ferry 23 million passengers every day. So stop throwing these nonsensical numbers about 100 trains and 200 trains. And the minister mentioned something about his Facebook account. Good. Did I say Facebook? Facebook. Anyway, Freudian slip. He talked about helping 650 people who reached out to him. Very good. My request to him and to the BJP is help those 650 who reached out to you. But I've got some more numbers for you. 150,000 people are already back in Bengal through different ways. The train numbers you've given are nonsense. 10 trains have come into Bengal. So please, 150,000 have already come in. Why the sudden love for the migrant worker? Shame on you, because you are now trying to pass the buck on to the states, because those pictures are coming out. Those pictures which are on migrant workers on highways, those are heart-wrenching pictures. Stop passing the buck. And for please, one last request. Let's fight the virus. Let's fight Corona. Stop spreading the political virus in Bengal. Stop spreading the communal virus across the country. And this is really, really disappointing. This is not the time. Please keep all this till the winter. And one more thing, please keep the bureaucracy out. Why the bureaucracy also batting this thing? Ministry of, I gave you the answer for the Ministry of Home Affairs. So now you've messed up. This is a very important statistic, Ms. Chaudhary. When you called the lockdown, there were 500 corona cases. Now there are 80,000 corona cases. We didn't even accept your complete lockdown. We wanted a partial lockdown because otherwise the economy will be in a mess. So anytime the BJP try to do spin doctoring on television channels, we have to counter them with facts. 23 million capacity of Indian Railways. Stop playing games. But at the end of it all, we still will, because they can't look at Bengal with a positive mind. They can't tell you that the recovery rate in Bengal is 34%. They can't tell you that the testing rate in Bengal today hit 7,000. I don't want to compare with other states they're doing. Come on, let's get real.
Okay.
Don't come with sweet talking, some spokesperson here, spokesperson there, and then do the politics. No, but this is not the minister's problem, nor is it the spokesperson's problem. I don't blame them. I don't blame them, because this is in the DNA of Amit Shah, the Home Minister, and the Prime Minister of India, Modi. It's in their DNA to do this.
All right, okay. Mr. O'Brien, you said facts. I just want to put those facts out there and maybe we can get some information out on that account. When we talk about, when there's an allegation which seems to suggest that till 9th May only 2 trains were allowed into Kolkata, into West Bengal, one from Ajmer Sharif and the other, of course, from Ernakulam, Kerala. And it was only subsequently yesterday that the Chief Minister announced 105 trains coming in from Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. Even then, the allegation is 105 trains are being allowed in by West Bengal. But let's give you a comparison of, say, Uttar Pradesh, where over 300 trains have been allowed inside by the state of Uttar Pradesh. So is the hurdle coming in from the West Bengal government? That is the allegation of the centre.
I really appreciate, Ms. Chaudhary, that you're raising the allegations and you're giving me ample time to answer. This rarely happens on any channel. It doesn't even happen on your channel, I'm sorry to say, but I appreciate what you're doing on this program. I really appreciate it. Let's come to numbers. 105 trains. Firstly, let me correct what you said was wrong. It was 2 trains and 8 trains. That is 10 trains. And now 105 trains. It is not about Uttar Pradesh. Please look at the migrant numbers to Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and look at the migrant numbers to Bengal. So don't compare apples and oranges, because this migrant disaster, it's a complete unmitigated disaster. We've abandoned migrants. So you have to accept you have abandoned migrants. Otherwise you wouldn't have given them 4 hours notice to have a 21-day lockdown. And your specific What was the other question you had on the railway? What did you want to know? UP, I told you.
UP, you told me, but the point is that 105 trains only coming into West Bengal, while most other states are allowing over 300. So the influx is way lesser, and most migrants would be walking back to West Bengal.
Good. We will bring the migrants back. And I don't want to hear condescending suggestions from these fake people sitting in Delhi. Listen to this. West Bengal has a fort. You're sending the migrants back after 50 days. You didn't plan. It was unplanned. Now what do we do? When you sign the migrant back, we are also fighting corona. What do we need to do? First, test at the railway station. Who gets it ready? State government. 2, home quarantine and monitoring of home quarantine. Who is responsible? State government. 3, there's a third stage there, which is of institutional quarantine. Who gets it ready? State government. 4th, if you're symptomatic, then we've got to take you into the hospital. So there are 4 levels when you bring these migrant workers back. We don't want some of these trains, and I say this with all responsibility, we don't want some of these trains, we have to handle it responsibly. We cannot have the Corona Express. In other words, you know what I'm trying to say. So we have to be very careful. State governments, not Bengal only. All state governments are the implementing authorities. What the center looks now in charge of is 3-day press conference, faff, one headline, then followed by 3-day press conference, and then some pipsqueaks come on television and try to justify.
Okay. No, let's not get personal, Mr. O'Brien. Let's not get personal. Let's not get into that. Let's leave it there.
I didn't get personal. I only gave facts.
Okay, all right. Okay, appreciate you joining us. Mr. O'Brien, you have a good evening. Appreciate you joining us. I want to just quickly move on. That's all the time we have for right now. But I will leave you with this. We've seen lots of pictures coming which are heartbreaking. We've heard voices which we can't really get out of our heads of migrants walking back. They continue to do so. But there's some, there's some glimmer of hope somewhere. And hopefully these visuals of this one gharana, musical gharana from Jodhpur, hopefully this will leave you smiling. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you Monday.
Lockdown or not, folk artists from the Langa Gharana in Jodhpur will never stop their music.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.